Well, thanks everybody for coming out tonight, students and faculty alike. Let's give a round of applause to my favorite people here tonight, the donors that make this possible. Now tonight, you're going to hear a lot of different speeches. Some are going to be funny, some are going to be more serious, and they're all going to be great. What I'll tell you is that my speech tonight maybe isn't going to be funny or super serious, but it is about a principle that's probably going to affect all of us more than anything else. So, literacy is defined as a state in which basically we're competent in a certain area or field. Now, with that being said, I'd like to pose a simple question to all of us. Do we feel that we're literate or competent in all of the skills necessary to be successful and happy in life? While you're thinking about that, 4 terms are going to appear. See how many of these terms you're familiar with, or maybe you can define. So the first, we have 401k. So 401k is a traditional basic savings account. Next up is Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a tax-deferred savings account. Third is FICO. All of you have a FICO. You may not know that. That's your credit score. Well, maybe some of you don't quite yet have a credit score. You'll find out about that later, though. And last, you have 1090-T. A 1090-T is the form that you submit when you're filing your taxes if you've received some sort of financial aid. Now, I don't know how many of these we're familiar with, and that's okay if you're not familiar with all of them. According to a study by Louisiana State University, less than half of us as college students are familiar with terms like this. These are financial terms, terms that we need to be familiar with in order to be successful and probably happy in life. And this poses the question, what's the rate of literacy, or how literate or financially literate are students at BYU? And that's an important question for all of us. Now, I'm an economics major here at BYU, and well, because I've always had an interest in money, I chose to study economics. When I was young, I was interested in making money. In fact, I used to feed my dog more food, hoping that she would poop more and then I could make more money by allowance. You guys may have experimented with certain things like that to make more money as well. As I grew older, I wanted to learn how to save money. And during the whole course of it, I've shared a special love, I'm sure most of you have this one, with spending money. That's my favorite. But the fact is that as we grow older, we have to learn more about all of these different kinds of things. Before I attended BYU, I worked for a stock options and commodities broker. While I was working there, I was able to see the distinct contrast between those that were financially literate and those that were not. Many tried to invest but didn't understand what they were doing, and they would lose their shirt. Currently, I own a small business, Parker Planners. You guys may have seen, let's see here, the RM Planner. Bookstore sells them if you don't have one, so make your way over there. And I also work as a regional manager for a summer sales company. So for if any missionaries, if you're missing your planner, or if you're looking for a summer job, you probably should see me after this. Now, during the course of my career here at BYU, when I got to school, I had no money, and I know that most of us can relate to that. But over the years, I've been more financially successful, and I've increasingly had to make more and more financial decisions, but it's flabbergasted me that I haven't learned the things at BYU that would be helpful when wanting to invest my money or to make wise decisions. I know a lot of my friends here don't even know how to balance a checkbook, much less file our taxes. If you haven't filed your taxes, wait, it'll surprise you how complicated it is. I'm crossing my fingers that the IRS doesn't audit me on the first year I filed. So, the question here is why did we come to school? And ask yourselves that question, why did you come to BYU? And we'll put aside the fact of getting married, because that doesn't apply to all colleges. At BYU, many of us do come to get married. I know that I did. But for most of us, there are financial reasons. Education.org lists the top 4 reasons that we attend college. So the first one is to gain greater knowledge, which is obvious. Second is to make more money. Third is for more increasing potential, so just potential in life, to do more things. And third is for job opportunities. But you'll notice that the top 3 reasons that you'll find are financial reasons. Make more money, increase our potential, and job opportunities. So the reasons that we attend BYU and attain higher education is with the purpose of making more money. But here's the big question of all. Once we get the money, what do we do with it? So, as we come here to BYU, there's a lot of different classes that we can take. I've taken a whole variety of them, but the reason that I took public speaking, and one of the things that I love about this showcase, is that it promotes a practical skill, a skill that regardless of what we study, it's something that we're going to have to use. That's one of the things that I like. Unfortunately, BYU doesn't have enough classes like this. And my purpose in speaking to you tonight is to convince all of you to join with me in petitioning BYU to include financial literacy in the curriculum here. It's something that'll help all of us and is necessary for all of our success, regardless of what we study and regardless of what we continue on in life. Now, the Wharton School of Business, which is a prestigious school, wanted to do a study to basically assess how much did financial literacy affect people with a medium income level. And what that means is they're looking at people that make the same amount of money, work for the same amount of time, but they wanted to see what their net worth was after a certain amount of time. And what they noticed is that those with a high level of financial literacy had a 35% higher net worth. In other words, they work for the same amount of time, they're making about the same amount of money, but when all is said and done, those that were financially literate were worth 35% more, had 35% more to show for it. CNN Money did a similar study and found that those with high levels of financial literacy retired 10 years earlier than their counterparts. That means that for many of us, instead of working into our 60s, we can retire in our 50s and go live on a Caribbean island if that's where you'd like to live. So, as we're here at BYU, there's something that we can do to make this change. The Dean of Students at BYU is the dean that's assigned basically to assess what students want. A good example of what students want is the honor code. I don't know if many of you know that. I just learned about it this year. The honor code was proposed by students, which is surprising. I know that many of us complain about the honor code. But it was proposed by students, and really it's what the university is known for. It's been a great blessing to me in my life, and it's one of the reasons that I came here. The Dean of Students is the person that we can email. If you have your phone out, here's your permission. Pull your phone out, jot this down, put in a text message, send it to yourself, whatever it is that you want to do. Spend 2 minutes sending this to the Dean of Students, petitioning that financial literacy be included for the curriculum here at BYU. Before we can attend BYU, we have to be literate in English. Are there any international students here? Anyone from another country? So we have great. So if you came from a country where you didn't speak English, you would have had to pass certain classes or take ESL classes in order to matriculate into the regular classes. Which is interesting is that when you drive up Bulldog Avenue, you'll see a placard. It says, "The world is our campus." Who here has seen that before? So we've all seen it before. The world is our campus. The world is where we go upon graduation. But I have news for you. The world actually speaks a universal language. Does anyone know what that language might be? Yes, money. It's a color. It's green. The world speaks a universal language, which is money. It may be in Mandarin, it may be in English, but they're all speaking the same language. Graduates at BYU, to have a high propensity for success, need to be speaking that language, regardless of the field that we study or what we go into. Not understanding the language that the world speaks puts us at a disadvantage. Now, in closing, I came to BYU because it provided a unique experience. Taking religious courses, well, sometimes they're a little bit tedious, but the fact is that it provides a balanced lifestyle. It teaches us practical skills that help us to be successful in the real world and have a happy life. Practical skills are something that need to be included in our education. Maybe subtract one of the courses on, well, something not so practical, and substitute it for something that's going to be a blessing to all of us. I'm confident that if every person in here spends 2 minutes sending an email to the Dean of Students, we'll see this applied. I'm a senior, and I'm probably not going to see this happen while I'm here, but that's okay. I love BYU. I love my subsidized tuition by tithing, mind you. I love everything that BYU's done for me. It's a great environment. And I'm committed to helping it become a better school, and I know that many of you feel the same way that I do. Including financial literacy in that is a key element to that equation. When financial literacy is included in the curriculum here, BYU students will graduate with a higher propensity for success, and our reach will be far greater throughout the world.